Hello everyone and welcome back to DSP versus the Internet episode 36 for October 22nd, 2023. We roll on with more of the standard member submissions for this part. What I'm going to do is go through 3 videos and then re-randomize the playlist and then watch 3 more and then re-randomize again. I know that sounds stupid, but that's what we have to do because the app doesn't seem to work. Alright, so the Forgotten Nightmare Before Christmas sequel, I did not know that it had a sequel. It's a video game? I guess it's a video game.
Continue? What is this?
Yeah.
So last week was our big family vacation at Disneyland, and while the kids were amazed with all of the characters, the adults were amazed with all of the theming and high prices.
And the prices.
I couldn't help but be just a little bit surprised by how hard they're still pushing The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh yeah, they still do.
Which is kind of wild when you think about the fact that this movie came out all the way in 1993, and
not only 93, but it never became a franchise. It was just a one-off thing from Tim Burton. Yet they still push it as their Halloween thing every single year. It's crazy.
Outside of a couple of re-releases and Hot Topic outfits, Disney really hasn't done all that much with it. Meanwhile,
at Thanksgiving, we revisit another fan favorite with Disenchanted. Haunted Mansion, a live-action reimagining of none other than Snow White.
Cool. But somehow, the creative forces of Tim Burton, Danny Elfman, and Disney marketing couldn't get it together to make a sequel, or a TV show, or anything.
Danny Elfman looks pretty demonic. You guys can't really see him because I'm blocking him, but he looks like he's a cultist or something in this picture. I've never seen him before.
Or could they? According to director Henry Selick, discussions around returning to the world of The Nightmare Before Christmas were being had around 2001. But Disney insisted that it would all have to be done using computer animation rather than the stop-motion style from the first film. Thankfully, that was a no-go. So with the movie off the table, but a hot property still burning a hole in Disney's pocket, where would it make sense for the further adventures of Jack Skellington to continue? Now again, this was the early 2000s, and a couple of devices called the PlayStation 2 and Xbox were taking the entertainment world by storm. For the first time ever, video games were able to achieve a level of storytelling and immersion that rivaled the cinema experience, and mainstream audiences were responding. Of course, movie studios had long licensed out their properties for cheap marketing tie-ins, but now they could do something interesting. You know those Matrix sequels? How about playing through an original side story with brand new footage from the original filmmakers and Enter the Matrix?
That's right.
Actions that take place
I remember
in the
that.
game
I didn't play that
through
game,
and
though,
play
but I knew about
affects
it.
the film plot.
So with all this going on in the marketplace, it's easy to see why Disney would want to ride the wave.
I did not
and
know that they
continue
made
with
a
the
video
Nightmare
game.
Before Christmas sequel, but in the form of a video game.
Santa's getting snagged. The Easter Bunny's getting kidnapped. Evil is stealing away all the holiday.
Oh my God, what a
years and
commercial.
taking over. Now only Jack Skellington has the power to bring them back.
Yo, this game looks good.
Tim Burton's
Does it
The
not?
Nightmare
It looks pretty
Before
good.
Christmas, Oogie's Revenge, the video game.
Nightmare
Oogie's
Before
Revenge.
Christmas, Oogie's Revenge arrived in North America in 2005 and was developed by Capcom of all places.
Capcom
A
made
bit of
this?
background for the non-gamers out there.
What?
Capcom is a legendary Japanese game developer known for early hits like Street Fighter.
I had no idea Capcom made it. Let's fast forward a
Him
bit.
and sends him out to the larger world in search of new scares for next Halloween. While away, Lock, Shock, and Barrel decide that now is as good a time as any to resurrect Oogie Boogie so that he can take revenge for the events from the movie. Sally overhears this plan and is able to send a letter warning Jack, all before he returns to Halloween Town on the eve of Christmas Eve. Now, right from the jump, it's immediately impressive just how much effort Oogie's Revenge is putting into emulating that Nightmare Before Christmas feeling. Everything looks and sounds about right. Tim Burton and the artists from the film were consulted with.
Yeah, look.
Most of the original
It looks
cast
pretty
is
close
here.
to the movie.
They even make an attempt to incorporate big musical segments with the help of a handful of songs created specifically for this game.
Wow.
But Spooky is the king. We get away with everything. You cannot solve it for our friends. The
It's a friggin' timed inputs. That's not good. Quick time events, basically. It's the music.
When this town is back to normal, do you really want the blame?
segments or songs any good? Meh. Pretty much all just boils down to a button timing minigame set to songs that you've heard 1,000 times already or sound just close enough to them, but it all gets the job done. The rest of the gameplay is really just a basic beat 'em up, where you'll spend 99% of your time whipping skeletons, ghosts,
Whipping the
blue
skeletons.
skeletons, red ghosts, yellow skeletons, the occasional boss, you know what I'm talking about here. Every once in a while you have the opportunity to change into one of Jack's other costumes
wow.
from the movie,
Christmas
but
Jack.
does it fundamentally change anything? Not really. Also not fundamentally changing anything is the story, which, like everything else, is fine, but really isn't much more than a cheap and easy conveyor belt of nostalgia. Sounds pretty familiar when it comes to Disney.
Hello, Pops.
That's why you gotta realize that this came out in 2005. The original movie came out in 1993. So it's 12 years later that they came out with the game. It's not exactly the most timely game release, huh? So I had no idea. I literally had no idea that they'd made a video game sequel. That's interesting. Wait, what's this?
Advance. This one is actually a prequel.
A
and tells
prequel?
The story of Jack's first run-in with Oogie Boogie and how he becomes the Pumpkin King.
Oh.
Set 1 year before the events in the film, Jack Skellington learns that Oogie Boogie has infested the town with bugs, hoping to turn Halloween Town to Bug Town.
Game
he
Boy
sets off
Advance
to stop him,
graphics.
and along the way, rescues some familiar
It was an awesome
townspeople,
console.
saves Sally, and defeats Oogie, becoming the one true Pumpkin King in the process. Just like Oogie's revenge, the story here is really just an excuse to revisit the characters and locations in the film. We really
That's pretty cool. I had no idea that they had made any of these games. Nice. All right. Like I said, we should watch 3 videos and then hit the random button again. Okay? So let's see what the next video is.
Hi, it's Aurelius. No tutorial this week, but I want to address something that's rather important.
I know about this. This has just happened recently. A series of YouTubers, seemingly random because they don't seem to have much in common with each other, have been hit with this thing on YouTube where YouTube is considering their channels to be for some reason not monetizable anymore, even though a lot of the YouTubers have been around for over a decade, and it's very odd the way that it's hit them. And essentially what's happened is they remove all of the ad revenue on their channels. Now, they could still do other things to make money, but they can't run ads anymore. So I'm curious because I want to see if he's going to explain what happened because I'm not aware of
If you're
this.
a creator and you're creating content online and relying on that source of income, such as Instagram or YouTube, which is what I want to discuss today. It was only a few weeks ago when I opened up my phone as usual. I would just check my analytics, see what's going on. And I see this top bar. Ads have been limited on one or more of your videos due to invalid traffic.
Invalid traffic. Okay? So I used to get invalid click activity, and that was, no exaggeration, back in 2010. All right? This was when I had just started trying to do YouTube full time. I had been laid off from my office job at the helicopter company. And I told everyone, hey, I was going to try to make a living doing YouTube. So what happened was people went to my channel where I had AdSense. You couldn't do AdSense on gameplay back then. You could only do it on like vlogging and stuff like that. So I had a vlogging channel. And they went there and they literally clicked the living crap out of my ads because they felt bad for me having lost my job. Okay? Now, obviously, that's not valid click activity. Valid click activity is you're watching someone's video, you like it, an ad plays, oh, I like that ad, I want to do that product, and you legitimately click on the ad. That's legit click activity. So what happened was a lot of people felt like, oh, I want to help Phil, and they very invalidly were clicking ads, okay? So I got kicked, well, not kicked out of the partner program, but I got suspended from the YouTube partner program in 2010, and it was many, many years later that they released the suspension on that account, so now I'm good. But that's what happened back then, okay? I have not seen this. Ads have been limited on one or more of your videos due to invalid traffic. What is invalid traffic? We're about to find out.
Investigating this further, which took me to this page where it says invalid traffic on your videos. And here are some examples of invalid traffic on videos, which include automated or incentivized traffic from third parties, including traffic boosting services and others claiming to be legitimate ad networks, among others. Second point is friends or contacts letting playlists of your videos run all day long, resulting in a boost in ad traffic. And thirdly,
That doesn't even make sense. Friends or contacts running playlists? How many friends do you have? Like, if you have 3 friends who do that all day, you will make not a penny. Seriously. So that doesn't even make sense at all. Like, the only way I could see this working is this is like a server farm of people doing this. You know what I'm saying? Like thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people doing something like that. Right?
announcing to your viewers that they should watch or click through ads on certain videos to boost ad traffic. After reading this, my first reaction was I didn't do any of these.
Right.
I wouldn't jeopardize and sabotage my YouTube channel, of course, because it is a part of my livelihood. Essentially, what's happened is that my income with YouTube, the AdSense, has dropped significantly, something around 90%. Now, thankfully and personally, I don't rely heavily on the AdSense earnings through my YouTube channel. I've got other businesses online, and I also monetize in different ways, such as sponsorships and affiliate marketing. But I do feel that pain that many creators feeling right now if they are getting this invalid traffic issue. I mean, they're putting their heart and soul into building their channel, and it's probably their primary source of income. They're gonna go through this month or the next month or however long this is going to take to clear things up, you know, without any income. And this could mean feeding a family, could put a roof over their heads, and they've got mortgages and loans and of course the bare essentials. This does remind me of a time back when I actually lost my PayPal account. I was collecting payments and had subscriptions going on. PayPal unfortunately closed my account. No specific reason, wasn't even a warning. Long story short, I learned from that lesson not to put all your eggs in one basket, and that's what I want to talk about in this video. Long-term wise, you don't want to rely on that single source of income. At the start,
good point.
You are going to just start with one source of income and then diversify as you go along. So what can you do as a creator so that you're not stuck in this hole if it ever does happen? What I always suggest, and I've preached this, I've taught it, I just feel like it doesn't come across as something people want to listen to. It's something they'll put in the back burner that they'll get to. I think they'll only get to it when something unfortunate does happen. Then they'll scramble and panic. What I'm talking about is building an email subscriber base.
So what? This is... The whole video is going to say how to survive if this happens. I don't care about that. I want to know why it happened to him. And he has no idea. So he's saying he's never told anyone to click his ads. He's never had, you know, he never purchased views, right? Or clicks on ads. And he never had someone run like automatically run playlists of his videos. He got kicked out of the, you know, or got demonetized, and he has no idea why. Build an email subscriber base. I don't really care about that.
In fact, you can start with ConvertKit, which allows you to build an email subscriber base of
what it is what he's saying is he wants you to still be able to reach out to your viewer base even if you have to leave a platform. The thing is, even if, like, my YouTube channel were completely demonetized, I would still make content because you guys support me through it anyway. You understand? Like, I wouldn't just quit on YouTube entirely. I would still have a way to contact you guys. I would just find other ways to monetize through other avenues, whether it be go to another site or, you know, whatever. He's basically saying have an email so you can reach out to all of them for your email list. Great, but I don't really think that's a big deal for someone like me anyway.
If you have a contact list of somewhere around 10,000 subscribers and each one is worth about 50 cents per month, you're looking at $5,000 per month that you take home. But let's be a bit more conservative, right?
Yeah, good luck getting 10,000 people to subscribe to anything. Good luck on that. If it's a paid subscription, forget it. That's awful advice.
That says sign up to my email newsletter for the latest updates.
He's still talking about fucking email? We're almost at the end of the video. He's still talking about email.
I want to make the same mistake that I made and many others have made and are making. So thanks a lot for watching.
That's it. Literally, his video is, I got demonetized on YouTube. I don't know why. Build an email list. Thanks for nothing. Wow. Thanks a lot. Well, great advice. Okay, let's go to the next video, and then we'll probably re-randomize the playlist. The most disturbing painting. Really? What is this? This is it? Looks like a guy eating flesh.
What's the scariest painting in art history? There are some strong contenders, like The Judgment of Cambyses by Gerard David, Hieronymus Bosch's rendering of Hell, Henry Fuseli's Nightmare, and Edvard Munch's The Scream.
I don't know what's scary
But there's
about
only
that.
ever
Scream.
really been one painting that has seriously disturbed me. This one.
Eating flesh.
Francisco Goya's Saturn devouring his
Oh,
son.
he's eating his son.
What
yeah.
you're seeing here is the
Yep.
legendary Spanish painter's depiction of the Greek titan Cronus, who after usurping power from his father was told a prophecy that one of his own sons would do the same and usurp him. In order to prevent this, every time his queen Rhea bore a child,
He would eat
Cronus would eat it.
Yep.
Unfortunately for him, in the end, Rhea conspired to hide away their youngest son, Zeus, who eventually fulfilled the prophecy, exiled his father, and ended the reign
That's right.
of the Titans. The story is a well-known Greek myth, but look at how Goya handles it. Some key changes jump out right away. First, in the myth, Cronus devours his children by swallowing them whole. In fact, they remain alive in his stomach. Goya's painting is a much more gruesome affair.
Yeah.
We take some inspiration here from Peter Paul Rubens, a Flemish Baroque painter who depicted the same event as well. In Rubens' Saturn, the
yuck.
Titan seems to be sucking the life force from his child. Even for such a terrifying subject matter, Rubens displays all the drama, richness, even beauty that marks.
Well, that's it. I guess we're just going to go to the next video because, quite frankly, it's not very scary to me. Yeah, let's re-randomize the playlist. We got to re-randomize the playlist now, which is really stupid, but we have to. Let me see if I can get this to work, by the way. So I think if I back out, and then if I go here, and I back out here, and I hit close player, and then I hit shuffle again. Yes, it is working. It is re-randomizing again. Okay. Ready? We're going to do this video, and then we'll probably split the part. Here we go. Unsettling mysteries that you missed in video games. Here we go. Let's see what these are. We're probably not going to watch the whole video because it is 18 minutes, but let's see what we've got.
The last two, and that's what I want to talk about. Hi folks, it's Falcon, and today on Game Ranks, 10 unsettling mysteries you missed in video games. At number 10 is Red Dead Redemption 2's Missing Princess. A lot of weird stuff in the Red Dead series, and if you're playing the games normally, there's a good chance you'll miss.
I didn't miss this. This was the horror-themed mission. Remember, there was someone who was like a murderer, a mass murderer, and they had all this weird taxidermy. I remember this mission distinctly because it stood out. It was so weird.
Missed a lot of it. But as weird details go, the entire Missing Princess story is maybe the most obscure. Outside the saloon in the Vainhorn Trading Post, you'll find a faded poster that talks about a reward for finding a literal missing princess from Luxembourg.
I remember this.
If you really want to go down the rabbit hole and find her, there's actually a lot of clues in the area. You can find what looks like her belonging at the local fence. There's at least one other guy you can meet nearby who is also looking for his disappearance as well. You'd think, with the game hiding so many details, it would be possible to find her, but look as long as you want. It's not going to happen. You're not able to collect that reward. In the PC version, you can actually find her model, though.
Huh.
It's clearly meant to be her, has the same birthmark on the face as the poster, and at some point she probably was in the game, but they just backed out for whatever reason. Maybe they decided it was just too much. And to be honest, all the clues leading to nothing give the whole story a bit of an uneasy edge. like, we'll just never know what happened to her. Most of the side stuff in Red Dead 2 is intentionally weird, or, you know, easier to dismiss as an Easter egg, or has some kind of resolution. So this fairly straightforward missing person case, having absolutely no ending, but a lot of little threads sprinkled around, make it much more unsettling. And number 9 is Fallout 4's Unmarked.
So I guess I didn't do that one. I thought he was going to talk about the guy who does the taxidermy together. I guess that was not what it was. That's not what I thought it was. Okay.
Torture Room. One of the best things about the Fallout games is their environmental storytelling. You can learn a lot about the world just from looking at it. Most of the time, it's pretty clear what your takeaway is supposed to be with these types of things. But this one random unmarked location leaves us more questions than answers. North of Vault 81, there's some train tracks. You can climb up this structure and find an unmarked hatch labeled Way Station. Sounds straightforward enough, right? The Commonwealth is filled with unmarked locations. They have nothing particularly memorable about them. Not this one, though. Inside this wooden table, various torture tools and a lot of blood. Oh, yeah, and a car battery wired up to the body. There's no notes or any clues to explain what happened here or why. You just randomly stumble onto a hidden torture room. Like, Fallout already has a kind of creepy atmosphere. In a standard horror game, this room probably wouldn't stand out a whole lot. But Fallout, again, only kind of creepy. World is really big. And this
I wonder if I
so
ever found that
small
room,
and
because
hidden
you know me,
away,
I'm a
it's like,
thorough
well, what's
explorer
the
in those
point?
games.
Is
I
there some
probably
kind of
would have
serial
stumbled
killer out
upon
there
it.
we don't know about? Was someone tortured for information? Maybe this was
All right, we don't care. What's number 8?
the previous 2 points that are small parts of big games. This mystery is a massive part of a relatively brief Call of Duty campaign, but it's so obscure that the clues can be pretty easy to miss. By Black Ops 3, we pretty much know what to expect from this sub-series, and for the most part it plays the hits. Bit more of a cyberpunk edge, ending gets trippy and bizarre, but the basic plot is relatively straightforward. If all you do is play the campaign mode normal, your takeaway is that it's a standard evil AI run-amok plot, with a mind-bending twist ending.
I don't even remember this one.
You're not Hendrix. You're not real. None of this is!
Play it again, though, and you'll start to notice some strange out-of-place details, how the training mission teases how all your squad mates eventually die.
Those sons of bitches got a damn hive mind. You try to process and control all that, your brain is toast.
Or the many Metal Gear Solid-like fourth wall breaks with certain characters, alluding to the fact that they're playing a role. There's clearly meant to be more going on with the plot. It's not just fan speculation, it's in the game. What really exposes the developer's intent is the text crawl that appears before every mission, though. It appears too fast to actually read, but some dedicated players manage to put together what each message says, which, when taken all together, completely changes what the plot is actually about. The prevailing theory with all this information is that your main guy actually either died or nearly died after the first mission of the game, and everything that follows is some kind of dying dream, perhaps.
What the fuck?
What complicates this is the cyberpunk elements like the neural implants called DMIs that every operative in the game has. It's not necessarily a dream.
D&I doesn't just help us communicate with each other. It allows us to interact with a variety of...
I don't remember this game at all. Did I play it? I must have, right? Because I played every major Call of Duty. How do I not remember this whatsoever? That's pretty funny. It was so non-memorable, I don't remember ever playing it.
computer systems, including pretty much all the basic drone units.
It could be more like you're trapped in the Matrix. Possibly, of course. The thing about the text crawls is they're a little contradictory and vague, so they don't really paint a straightforward picture as to what's supposed to be happening. There's a few things people know for sure. The game presented the story in a linear way, but it's actually not. The first mission actually happened much later, and most of it is actually a suspiciously similar retelling of a previous mission done by a different character entirely. Many theories simply say that the AI villain at the center of the story, Corvus, is just made up as part of a dying dream, but I'm inclined to think it plays a more important role. But what exactly that is, I'm not completely sure. It's pretty rare to find a game where so much of the actual story is this hidden. It's so obscure and mysterious that, although a lot of people have a pretty good interpretation of what's supposed to happen, nobody really knows for sure. Maybe someday Treyarch will just come clean and tell everybody what the hell's going on.
Maybe Treyarch doesn't care.
Until then, it's something. And number 7 is Skyrim, The Mysterious Letters. That was a big one, so let's go back to something a little less intense. In Skyrim, you periodically get letters that end with a friend. One is obviously meant to be Delphine, but a lot of others have less clear answers. Like when you kill a Dark Brotherhood member, you get a letter of thanks from a friend. The only person who could possibly know you killed a Dark Brotherhood member would be another member, but it's never made clear exactly who sends the letter. The most mysterious of these has to be the ones you get for using shouts. Sometimes, for whatever reason, you'll get a letter from someone pointing you towards a new word wall, which is a place of power that can unlock new shouts. It's never made explicit who these letters are from. They all just end in, you guessed it, a friend. So many questions here, guys. Who is the person who heard you shouting? And how do they know the location of the word walls, which are all, by the way, in dangerous crypts and dungeons?
It's the game
Is
devs.
it an organization
Are your friends?
of people secretly help?
All right, let's go to the next one. That's really stupid.
Hallway. One of those games where every answer raises 2 more questions.
Control.
Just about everything in Control is some level of unsettling and mysterious.
Yeah.
But most of these
It's a crazy
mysteries
game.
are closely tied to the main plot, at least. You know, like what's the deal with Jesse and Dylan, or why Former was ejected from the board, or why the janitor is the way he is. And that's honestly just scratching the surface. So for this entry, let's focus on something smaller, maybe a little easier to miss, but nonetheless has huge implications. In Control, there's this place called the Ocean View Motel.
Yep.
It's a recurring element of the game. Every time you go through this place, you're going from one part of the oldest house to another, and while it might seem random, there does seem to be some kind of a logic to it. The thing that's gotten a lot of people's attention are these mysterious symbols on the doors. It's easy to dismiss them as just being random symbols, but each one actually has a specific meaning. Like they all have names associated with them in system files too, which doesn't necessarily mean anything, but it does give us something to go on. The most notable symbols are these: the doors, Vanguard, the Alan Wake, and this one, which is just called Control 2. The doors are interesting because of a thing Dylan says in the game where he talks about a Mr. Door. It's likely that he's talking about the character Martin Hatch from Quantum Break. I get it, Hatch door. Remedy loves their puns. And also implies that the door might be connected to the Quantum Break universe. The Vanguard symbol is an interesting one because it's actually in reference to their development branch working on the multiplayer experiences. Not a specific game, but more of a real-world Easter egg. The Alan Wake one, people already knew about for a few reasons. The swirl is closely associated with Alan Wake, and it's a symbol that appeared on a whiteboard in Quantum Break. And this is the door where you find a typewriter page in the Alan Wake DLC, so clearly it's meant to be connected there. These doors are meant to imply a shared universe, but what makes it unsettling is how it actually works. The Control 2 one could mean anything, but the black and white pyramids are super interesting. I don't want to linger too much here, but there's a lot of weird implied points of contact between Remedy games, and most of it's relatively benign. There's just something creepy about the motel and its obscure doors
That wasn't really a good one because it didn't really distinctly explain anything, besides that the symbols reference other Remedy games, right? What is this one? What the fuck?
among many in Oblivion. But as you explore the castle dungeon, there's a secret path to her room, but you'll also come across this room, which a beggar in the jail says is a room specifically for torturing Argonians. So it's not just your regular everyday secret torture
I found
dungeon.
this.
It's also a racism one. Torture's not enough. It's got to be racist torture, right? Yeah, that makes it real creepy. It does, actually. It's unsettling. There's chairs set up on her table. It's covered.
Argonian torture room. I think that's enough for this video. It's quite long. I don't want to watch the whole thing. All right. Thank you all for watching. Let's split the part. We got another hour left of DSP versus the internet coming up. So thank you all, and I hope you're enjoying the show so far, and see you in the next part.